In another sign that Michael Cohen is likely to flip on President Trump, you have a prominent tabloid that is close to the president has decided to turn on the embattled lawyer. Now, this is according to an article in HuffPost. The National Enquirer recently published a 3-page spread listing the numerous legal issues currently plaguing Michael Cohen. Now, they wrote, Cohen is under the spotlight as scandals swirl around his boss, and some are questioning Cohen's role, alleging blackmail, threats, hush money payoffs, and even collusion with Russia. The president is in the hot seat because of his lawyer. Well, no, wait a minute. So, understand what they're doing, right? The president's in the hot seat all because of Michael Cohen. I can't believe what Michael Cohen did. But wait, but why would, what, I don't get it. Basically, I think they're saying that, no, it was Michael Cohen that did all of these things, but it has absolutely nothing to do with Donald Trump. See, Donald Trump was blissfully unaware of everything that he is alleged to have done, or that Michael Cohen is alleged to have done on behalf of Donald Trump. How dare you blame Donald Trump? It's all Michael Cohen's fault. Well, to be fair, they are tabloids. They are used to printing outrageously untrue things. So, now why do I think this is evidence of Cohen flipping on Trump? Or potentially flipping on Trump? Well, for that I go back to HuffPost, and they explain the National Enquirer is owned by American Media Inc. That's AMI. It's a company chaired by Trump friend David Pecker. I know. I'm a child. Now, the company's 4-member board also includes a former chief financial officer of Trump's casino business. Oh, that's interesting how he's been able to stay employed. Anyway, so look, there are some Trump connections. Obviously, we know that the National Enquirer has been very, very pro-Trump, mainly because of Pecker, as well as other Trump connections. Now, you would think that these people would have some inside information, right? Or at least might understand Donald Trump's thinking and his mood. So that kind of shows you that the administration is really starting to write off Michael Cohen. Now, why would they write off Michael Cohen? Well, because they believe that Cohen is probably going to talk, or is already talking. Now, why would that be a problem? Unless you have something to hide. And that's the question. Now, it is fairly obvious when you look at this that Trump is actually putting some distance between himself and Cohen. Now, let me give you an example. So, if anybody remembers that rambling 30-minute interview that President Trump recently had with Fox and Friends, which, by the way, somebody did a video, I think it was with Mad World, but the slowed down version of Mad World, and put that song to the video. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I love it when people do stuff like that. Just to show how, like, the Fox and Friends host did not want to be there for that interview. It was awesome. Well, anyway, during that train wreck, Trump had said, quote, Michael is a businessman. He's got a business. Well, yeah, that would make him a businessman. He also practices law. Right? And he said prosecutors are looking at something having to do with his business. I have nothing to do with his business. Okay. So why bringing that up? That's interesting. No, business. I mean, he's got business, but I've got nothing to do with his business. Then why are you mentioning that you have nothing to do with his business? Now they should look and see whether or not you've had anything to do with Michael Cohen's business. Because you keep saying things. Like, Trump can't shut up. He can't shut up. He cannot stop, like, giving out leads for people to investigate. I mean, all you have to do is just listen to him talk about the things that they shouldn't look into to get an idea of what you probably should look into. Just saying. Again, now, they are looking into Michael Cohen. And look, that is something that those investigators will eventually find the truth on. Whether or not Trump had any business inside of, or I guess business in Michael Cohen's business, or any connections to the business, or whatever, or anything to do with the payments, for example, to not only Stormy Daniels, but now Karen McDougal. So that's going to be very interesting when that happens. Again, the FBI now has the records, and that could be a problem with National Enquirer's parent company, AMI, who is now also being investigated. In fact, among the records seized by the FBI were documents related to another $150,000 payment made to Karen McDougal, as I mentioned before. Now, what they did is they bought her rights to her story. And her story is that she had an affair with Donald Trump. Well, get online, girl. Apparently, a lot of people have had affairs with Donald Trump. And a lot of people ended up getting paid off. So, now, of course, the reason that we didn't hear about these is because here you have AMI, which goes and buys these stories. I think it's regular for tabloids to do, to go in and, oh, no, hey, you've got a story, you've got a lead for us, great, we'll buy it. But in the case of anything with Donald Trump, they buy it and then they axe the story. It's called catch and kill. That's a real technique that they use. Now, McDougal, and the reason that we're actually hearing about that alleged $150,000 is that she sued to get out of that contract. So, and guess what? She won. She won the lawsuit, the settlement, and she is no longer in that contract. So now she's telling her story. Add that to Stormy Daniels, and well, all of this has Mr. Pecker and President Trump both incredibly worried. And finally, add on to that the possibility that Michael Cohen, who is facing some very serious charges, but hasn't been indicted on them yet, and I'm not sure if he will be. That speaks, of course, to any sort of evidence that they may or may not have. But if they have some, oh boy, it's going to get very, very interesting. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.